The escudo was the currency of Portugal prior to the introduction of the euro on January 1, 1999 and its removal from circulation on February 28, 2002. The escudo was subdivided into 100 centavos. Amounts in escudos were written as escudos $centavos with the cifra poundo as the decimal separator. Because of the conversion rate of 1,000 RA, copyright is equals $1. 3 decimal places were initially used. History: the escudo was introduced on May 22, 1911, after the 1910 Republican Revolution, to replace the real at the rate of 1,000 RA. Copyright is to 1 escudo. The term mil RA copyright remained a colloquial synonym of escudo up to the 1990s. 1 million RA copyright was called 1 conto de RA copyright or simply 1 conto. This expression passed on to the escudo, meaning $1,000. The escudo's value was initially set at $6,750 equals 1 kilogram of gold. After 1914, the value of the escudo fell, being fixed in 1928 at $108.25 to the pound. This was altered to $110 to the pound in 1931. A new rate of $27.50 escudos to the US dollar was established in 1940, changing to $25.00 in 1940 and $28.75 in 1949. Inflation throughout the 20th century made centavos essentially worthless by its end, with fractional value coins with values such as $0.50 and $2.50 eventually withdrawn from circulation in the 1990s. With the entry of Portugal in the Eurozone, the conversion rate to the euro was set at $2,482 to a 1. Territorial usage: the escudo was used in the Portuguese mainland, the Azores and Madeira, with no distinction of coins or banknotes. In Portugal's African colonies, the escudo was generally used up to independence, with Portuguese and sometime local coins circulating alongside banknotes of the Banco Nacional Ultramarino, rather than those of the Bank of Portugal used on the mainland. For more details, see the escudos of Angola, Cape Verde, Mozambique, Portuguese Guinea and Sao Paulo. Toma copyright and PRA and CIPE. Only Cape Verde continues to use the escudo. In Macau, the currency during the colonial period was, as it is today, the pataca. Timor-Leste adopted the escudo while still a Portuguese colony, having earlier used the pataca. Portuguese India adopted the escudo before it was annexed by India. Coins. Between 1912 and 1916, silver 10, 20 and 50 centavos and 1 escudo coins were issued. Bronze 1 and 2 centavos and cupro nickel 4 centavos were issued between 1917 and 1922. In 1920, bronze 5 centavos and cupro nickel 10 and 20 centavos were introduced, followed, in 1924, by bronze 10 and 20 centavos and aluminium bronze 50 centavos and 1 escudo. Aluminium bronze was replaced with cupro nickel in 1927. In 1932, silver coins were introduced for 2 1 or 2 escudos, 5 escudos and 10 escudos. The 2 1 or 2 and 5 escudos were minted until 1951, with the 10 escudos minted until 1955 with a reduced silver content. In 1963, cupro nickel 2 1 or 2 and 5 escudos were introduced, followed by aluminium 10 centavos, bronze 20 and 50 centavos and 1 escudo in 1969. Cupro nickel 10 and 25 escudos were introduced in 1971 and 1977, respectively. In 1986, a new coinage was introduced which circulated until replacement by the euro. It consisted of nickel brass 1 escudos, 5 escudos and 10 escudos, cupro nickel 20 and 50 escudos, with bimetallic 100 and 200 escudos introduced in 1989 and 1991. Coins in circulation at the time of the changeover to the euro were 1 escudo, 5 escudos, 10 escudos, 20 escudos, 50 escudos, 100 escudos, 200 escudos. Coins ceased to be exchangeable for euro on December 31, 2002. Another name for the 50 centavos coin was coroa. Long after the 50 centavos coins disappeared, people still called the $250 coins cinco coroas. Also, people still referred to escudos at the time of the changeover in multiples of the older currency real. Many people called the $250 coins dua y quinhentos, referring to the correspondence $250 equals 2,500 réis. Tosta poundo is yet another multiple of real, with 1 tosta poundo equals 10 ra. Copyright is. Banknotes. The Casa de Armada issued notes for 5, 10 and 20 centavos between 1917 and 1925 whilst, between 1913 and 1922, the Banco de Portugal introduced notes for 50 centavos, 1, 2 1 or 2 escudos 5 escudos 10 escudos 20 escudos 50 escudos 100 escudos 500 escudos and 1,000 escudos. 50 centavo and 1 escudo notes ceased production in 1920, followed by 2 1 or 2 escudos 5 escudos and 10 escudos in 1925 and 1926. 5,000 escudo notes were introduced in 1942. The last 20 and 50 escudo notes were printed dated 1978 and 1980, respectively, with 100 escudo notes being replaced by coins in 1989, the same year that 10,000 escudo notes were introduced. Banknotes in circulation at the time of the changeover to the euro were 500 escudos, 1,000 escudos, 2,000 escudos, 5,000 escudos, 10,000 escudos. Banknotes can still be returned to the central bank Banco de Portugal and converted to euros until February 28, 2022. Escudo banknotes celebrated notable figures from the history of Portugal. The final banknote series featured the Age of Discovery, with João Paulo de Barros, Pedro Álvares Cabral, Bartolomeu Dias, Vasco da Gama, and Henry the Navigator. The last 100 escudo banknote represented Fernando Pessoa, the famous Portuguese writer and poet. Colloquial expressions: conto was the unofficial multiple of the escudo. 1 conto meant $1,000, 2 contos meant $2,000 and so on. The original expression was conto de ra. Copyright is, which means account of ra. Copyright is, and referred to 1 million ra. Copyright is. Since the escudo was worth 1,000 ra. Copyright is, therefore 1 conto was the same as 1,000 escudos. The expression remained in usage after the advent of the euro, albeit less often, meaning a 5, roughly worth 1,000 escudos. Occasionally paus, literally meaning sticks, was also used to refer to the escudo. During the move from escudos to euros, the Portuguese had a joke saying that they had lost 3 currencies, the escudo, the conto, and the pau. See also, Portuguese euro coins, Economy of Portugal, Economic history of Portugal. References. External links. Portuguese coins catalogue, overview of the Portuguese escudo from the BBC, Portuguese escudo coins, 1999 by law, 2002 de facto.